You are sitting in a room, staring at a glowing screen, hunting for a fact you knew with total certainty yesterday. It is right on the tip of your tongue, but instead of pushing through the fog, you surrender. You open a search bar. In that half second of capitulation, something microscopic shifts in the architecture of the brain. It feels like a harmless shortcut. It is not. Repeated dozens of times a day, this single reflex is quietly dismantling a biological mechanism that took the human species millennia to build. You are a subject in the largest cognitive experiment ever run. And by the end of this, what the experiment is actually doing to your mind will not be the thing you expect. It will be worse. And then, strangely, it will be better. Start with the modern thinker. By every historical metric, this person looks like a cognitive titan, carrying the Library of Alexandria in one pocket and summoning the answer to almost any question in milliseconds. But strip away the glass rectangle, and the titan collapses into something embarrassingly fragile, unable to navigate their own city, unable to recite the phone number of a single person they love. By classical standards of intellect, the modern thinker is a catastrophic failure, a living paradox who possesses everything and retains nothing. But that failure is not laziness. It is forced adaptation to a hostile environment. The digital landscape promises total omniscience and delivers chronic distraction, bombarding the senses with an endless feed of fragmented trivia. Therefore, to survive that flood without psychological collapse, the brain does the only rational thing. It begins to aggressively throw information away, which sharpens the paradox instead of resolving it. How could the most information-rich society in human history produce a population that cannot hold on to the basic contours of reality? Why is the internal hard drive failing at the exact moment the external one becomes infinite? The answer starts in 1985 with psychologist Daniel Wegner and a concept called transactive memory. Wegner argued that humans never stored everything alone. We divided the labor, leaning on a spouse to hold birthdays, a coworker to track the schedule. Memory was always a shared human act. But in 2011, Dr. Betsy Sparrow at Columbia University documented the rupture. The internet had replaced human beings as our primary transactive memory partner. Sparrow, Liu, and Wegner, Science, 2011. We stopped trusting our community to hold what we know and handed the entire duty to a single, omniscient, non-human entity. And once you outsource memory to a machine, a second failure begins. You lose the ability to tell what you actually know. Consider the digital hoarder, bookmarking thousands of articles and curating folders of research they will never open, accumulating data as if it were wealth. Therefore, they fall into the illusion of knowledge. A 2015 Yale study by Matthew Fisher found that the mere act of searching the internet makes people believe they are dramatically smarter than they are. They confuse the machine's reach for their own mind. Fisher, Gaudu, and Keel, Journal of Experimental Psychology, General 2015. The hoarder holds the world's knowledge in one hand, while their inner landscape goes completely barren, and cannot feel the difference. But here the story turns, because this barrenness is not a malfunction. It is an evolved feature, a phenomenon Kaspersky Lab named digital amnesia in 2015. The brain is a ruthlessly efficient machine, and Sparrow proved how ruthless. In her Columbia experiments, participants typed trivia into a computer. Half were told the file would be saved, half were told it would be erased. The result was chilling in its precision. The people who believed the machine had it remembered significantly less of it themselves. Sit with the implication. The instant the brain registers that a fact is stored safely and retrievable on demand, it deletes its own copy on purpose. We no longer remember the information. We remember the route to it, the query, the folder, the path back to the thing we chose to forget. The hardware has rewritten itself around the software, permanently, and there is no toggling it off. So you will never retain facts the way your grandparents did. That much is settled, and it is not the surprise. Here is the surprise. Everyone treats this as the tragedy. It is the opposite. A brain no longer conscripted as a filing cabinet for disconnected trivia is a brain with capacity suddenly freed. And the real catastrophe is not that we forgot the capital of a distant country. It is that we are squandering the empty space, leaving it idle instead of spending it on the one category of work no machine can do for us: deep synthesis, moral reasoning, the slow assembly of judgment. We keep mourning rote memorization, a low task we successfully automated and were right to. But a void left empty does not stay neutral, it decays. The machine has already taken the burden of knowing, and it is never giving it back. What it cannot take, what it was never able to touch, is the burden of understanding. That one was always yours. The only question the experiment is really running is whether you will pick it up.